Hello, and welcome back to Manufacturing Tomorrow's Workforce. I'm Amanda Del Buno. After a short hiatus, we're back with a great discussion today between Christine LaFave Grace and Nandita Gupta, Process Controls Engineer at Georgia Pacific and a 2019 Influential Women in Manufacturing honoree. They'll discuss Gupta's mentoring relationship and how that influenced her to develop a new mentoring program at Georgia Pacific, which will be launching soon. Here's their discussion.
26-year-old Nandita Gupta remembers her first couple of days on the plant floor as a process controls engineer at a Georgia Pacific factory in North Carolina. And in particular, she remembers being mistaken as the new HR girl rather than the new controls engineer. At a time when manufacturers are struggling to recruit young people to the field, having team members make assumptions about new talent in the plant is likely one of the last things that hiring managers want to see. But Nandita, who says that trust has to be earned, it's not given, was undeterred. In time, she earned the trust of her direct colleagues as well as plant operators, and she has since led her site's ergonomics team in incorporating principles of human-centered design within controls engineering. To help her organization confront the challenges of manufacturing workforce recruiting and retention, she pushed to launch an internal mentoring program for young engineers, and especially young women within the company. Nandita, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Christine.
All right, first up, can you tell me a little bit about the genesis of the mentor program? The need that you saw and what you hope to accomplish with it.
So before I go into that, just like to share a small story. So I'm very blessed. I had an absolutely fantastic mentor who was assigned to me at my site. And, when I felt times where I feel like I couldn't find my own voice, he helped me find that voice. I had, as a controls engineer, you have to keep up with trainings and go to different organization fairs and things like that. So I was going for one of my level 3 trainings at one of my vendor sites. And I guess I was used to this by now, where I was the only woman engineer in the room. So I walk in and I'm one of the younger female engineers, and it was a week-long training, and I think somewhere midway through the training, I was starting to feel really, really cold. So the conference room was exceptionally cold, and other people weren't really feeling it, but I was very shy about wanting to say something, but I finally went up to the instructor and requested him that, hey, would you please turn it down a little bit, because I'm wearing a sweater, I'm wearing a jacket, and I'm shivering out here. And he actually called me Goldilocks. And other people kind of snickered. And, you don't go through electrical engineering without developing a tough skin. But that was just something that kind of gnawed at me. And I came back, I came back to my site, and I shared this story with, some of my colleagues, and I shared it with my mentor. And I didn't want to seem, I didn't want to be called touchy. Or I didn't want to be called, oh, you're so sensitive, chill. Right. I got that a lot earlier. Not at my site ever, but, in school when you're coming through the college, I got that a lot. So I was really apprehensive about bringing that up. And I was really surprised when that afternoon, that vendor, the head of, that our site lead actually called and apologized to me because of that. Wow. And I was very touched because I didn't make that call. So my mentor actually did on my behalf and told them that this is not okay. So that is a story I always love to share, when you think about what was my inspiration, because I knew so many other colleagues where we felt the lack of mentorship at other sites. And I really wanted everyone to have a better, if not the same experience as I did with my mentor at site. And our company is amazing. I would hate to see people like me and people smarter than me leave the company because they felt a lack of mentorship.
Yeah, it's so easy to form a quick impression and to turn somebody off so quickly. Those experiences that can gnaw at you, or a memory that comes to mind. And when companies are struggling with retention and recruiting people, that's the kind of thing that it seems like could immediately turn someone away from a position that maybe they were really excited about. So to have a concerted effort to make sure that people have good experiences right off the bat, that seems like such a powerful endeavor. Can you tell me a little bit about then how you've gone about this, the kind of buy-in that you've sought and won, and who's involved in this program, how it's going to look when it's really up and running?
So it's really interesting you mentioned buy-in, right? Because I feel my company already had the buy-in to want to do this. I feel like I was just at the right place at the right time, talking to the right people, because I've been, trying to advocate for a formal mentoring program because we do have mentoring within our company. We assign mentors as people come in, and that already exists. But there wasn't something central. There wasn't something that, okay, yeah, this is it, these are some responsibilities, this is what you got to do. And so I was talking to the engineering development program manager, and I got his attention, and we had certain conversations, and it's like a very natural relationship, right? You meet someone at a conference, you start talking to them, and the next time you follow up with them and say, hey, what do you think about doing this? And the idea just turns into reality. And I am really blessed that I met all these people who had more drive, if not as much as I did, to really do this. So it was a team effort, and we got together in launching this.
That's great. That's really cool. So what is it going to look like, as far as when meetings are held or how you'll recruit and pair mentors with mentees?
So we really believe, we have MBM philosophies as part of Project Pacific and Coke, and we firmly believe that you need to have the right talent and the right virtue in the people, right? Someone might be a great engineer, but they might not make a good mentor. So it was important for us to, basically have a call out, calling out for mentors to volunteer, say, hey, who's interested? And then we kind of go through that and see, okay, this person will make a great mentor, and, so on and so forth. And the other thing that we were, being very, we wanted to be really deliberate about was you can't have a one size fits all. You can't have one mentor who can give you everything, right? It's a network. So you might have someone who's a really good technical mentor, but may not be as good of a career development mentor. So we wanted to make sure, even though we solicit mentors, it's, hey, what areas do you feel comfortable mentoring in, right? You might project management, conflict management, the new engineers coming in from school struggle with some of these things because this is their first real world work experience. So they don't know how to work in teams. They might not really understand, okay, what's the best way to do this? So just trying to understand the different areas and being able to have different people so we can provide our engineers with a network rather than just one person.
That's so interesting and really powerful too. What if the mentor moves on to another role in the company or another site or even out of the company? Then what happens? For the people who have a network of people instead of just that one person, I would think that that's so powerful for the individual.
Exactly.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you found makes someone a good mentor? What are some of the qualities when you've gone out and asked people to step up that you think will really make them successful in working with someone?
Of course, there's the people side, right? Like there's the whole, someone just clicks. Again, I was very grateful that I had a mentor whose personality, just clicked with mine. Both of us are extremely curious. We like working on things that are very similar. But, a couple things is just having those values of wanting to help someone, right? Intrinsically really wanting to help someone. Because this isn't about, you're going to get your pay triple because you're being a mentor, right? There's no direct monetary advantage if you think of it that way. But it was important for us to maybe seek those people out who really wanted to give back, who understood the value of mentoring, potentially had some good stories. We asked them to share their stories and, what inspired them and really what mentoring meant to them. And those answers, as you go through them, really gives you an idea into, okay, how does this person approach mentoring? Because one thing that is very easy to run into is coaching versus mentoring, right? When you're coaching someone for a job, you're directly preparing them for that job. But mentoring really goes beyond. As you mentioned, you're preparing them for different roles within the company. You want to let them find their own path without really molding them in your own skin. And that really takes a very different skill set.
That's a really interesting point. Thanks for sharing that. One of the things, and you're an influential woman in manufacturing for 2019 honoree, and we congratulate you for that honor. We reached out to our honorees and we asked them a couple of questions about who has influenced them and how they see themselves influencing the next generation of manufacturing leaders. You made a comment that I loved, that sometimes for you, leadership has meant being a voice for others who are not being heard. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means for you?
So I actually, again, this is another confidence story for me. I was at the biggest human-centered design conference, CHI, as they call it, and I was sitting in a diversity and inclusion luncheon. And the speaker comes up, she talks about, women in STEM and how we can get more women in STEM and things like that. But there was one thing she said which really, stayed with me. Push someone else, push and support someone else, and then go find someone who can push and support you. So sometimes we, are scared to say something, like I had that with, my Goldilocks story where I didn't want to say something because I was afraid of being labeled as, too sensitive. And we get that, right? We get so many labels. There are so many labels for, if a man showing leadership qualities, as Sheryl Sandberg puts it, he's a leader. If a woman does the same thing, oh, she's bossy. You know what? I'm okay with being called bossy, right? It's just crazy, right? So it's one of those things where sometimes it's hard for us to find our voice. And to me, that was important to me where, it's gonna, sometimes you find it by yourself, but mentoring plays a huge role in being able to find your voice. And when you have that right support system, you can do anything. And so I wanted to make sure another Nandita like me who comes to the company is going to find her network and going to go do amazing things.
Wow, that's fantastic. Looking ahead to a year from now, where do you hope to be? What will success look like for you and for the mentoring program a year out?
We are hoping to make it bigger. So right now it's only limited to, new engineers coming into the company. But as we grow the pipeline, we hope to scale it more. So Coke has a huge network. GP is part of the Coke industry. And we hope to even launch it, maybe grow Coke wide. So we can learn from other businesses within our own company. So hopefully we hope to go there, but baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just want to say again, congratulations, Nandita, and best of luck to you with this effort. We appreciate you sharing your story today. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you for having me.
For Manufacturing Tomorrow's Workforce, I'm Christine LaFave Grace.
That was Christine's interview with Nandita Gupta. Before I let you go today, I wanted to take care of a few housekeeping items. Putnam Media's Influential Women in Manufacturing program has been quite busy since naming this year's nominees, among which is Nandita Gupta, and I want to take a moment to share some of those with you. IWIM is conducting the first ever Career Development and Gender Diversity Survey. The anonymous survey will contribute to a brand new special report which will outline the efforts the industry is making to grow in these two areas. So we need your help to get the best responses we can. Additionally, IWIM will be celebrating the 2019 honorees with a luncheon event on Manufacturing Day, October 4th, at MXD in Chicago. The luncheon will include a keynote address, a panel discussion, an award ceremony, and a tour of the MXD facility. To participate in either or both of these events, please visit influentialwomeninmanufacturing.com. Thanks again for tuning in to Manufacturing Tomorrow's Workforce.